The era of the single point sale is dead. This is what you do instead. Check it out. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another great episode of the Sales Evangelist Podcast. I'm your host, Donald C. Kelly, the Sales Evangelist. And I'm so excited for another great episode. I'm so excited to be here with you today. On this episode, I bring on the one and only Catherine Oliver. Catherine and I got a chance to connect. She has a wealth of experience working with different organizations and teams, helping them to become more effective at business development. Her and I got a chance to connect. And one of the things we were talking about was a single point of sale and how this is dead, how we need to fix it, and what are some of the things that what's taken place of the single point of sale this era. And what we're going back at, you hear we talk about it when we dive in, but it's about the lazy selling, where we're just trying to get a hold of one person, or we're trying to use one method to get the prospect, and some of the better things that we're seeing sales teams do and how you can adopt it. If this is your first time listening to our podcast, know that the show is designed to do two things. One, teach you and give you better ways and strategies how to build pipeline, and then also how you can convert that darn pipe into some money, move the deals faster through the pipeline. Today, this falls on the category of how you can move some of these deals faster, and we also dabble in some of the things that you can do to build pipeline effectively. If you want to learn how you can do this and practice it on a regular basis, you should check out our mastermind. You can find more details at thesalesevangelist.com/mastermind. Again, thesalesevangelist.com/mastermind. Would love to have you join us. Let's dive in and hear why single point of sale is such an issue and what we can do instead. And what are some of the 3 simple ways that Catherine is recommending that we can improve upon that? Fire. Let's go. Catherine, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me, Donald.
I'm really looking forward to this conversation. There's a sales improve. I was going to say evolve, but sales improve over time. I think the way that we sold in 1917 compared to the way we sold in 1950s to the way we sold in 2000s to the way we sell now, every era brings a little bit more to it. We got a chance to use phone. Now we have the opportunity to use got to use internet and more tools and formulaic sales processes. But there's still some things that are improving and evolving. And one of those things is that we are past the era of the single point sale. And I bragged about you a little bit in a teaser. I read, talked about you and some of your experience. Why is this idea something that you are passionate about right now?
I'm passionate about this because when you're trying to build a solid sales pipeline and you try to find deals that you can actually win, you can no longer, have the idea that you'll manage to do that by just talking to one person. And I think, like what you say, times have changed, and the senior sellers that are still around that were super, super successful by always just talking to one person have to make that change. And we need to be really vocal about the fact that a lot more deals are being bought by committee these days. It's an enterprise, but still very much a mid-market, and SMB is growing as well. And if you keep your blinkers on and keep working the way that the good sellers from 10 years ago described that they did it like that, you're going to run into a wall at some point.
You see, and that's where I feel it's not like there's a whole bunch of, radical stuff that we're doing, but there's just small little things that you can change that make a difference. Mm-hmm. We talked about in our previous conversation, one of the things that we've both seen is that sellers become lazy, and they, often, we fail to look at what's changing, or we got comfortable. This is the way that we've done it, like you said, 10 years ago, and this is what we learned. And we don't want to try to do something different that's going to help us out. We had identified 3 main things that sellers can do to not fall into this trap and become the single point sales. One of them was account mapping, getting into the account as early as possible. Can you go deeper into the why and how this will help me to not be a single point seller?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it will depend on whether you sell into like small commercial organizations or big strategic enterprise accounts, but the concept stays the same. It's very much about building groundswell in the company and like talk to the people who are maybe actually are going to use your product, who are going to have practical problems right now, a pain that you can solve for them. They might not be in the position to buy the product, but what they can do is give you the ammunition and the information on what is going on in their daily lives and how your product or how you might be able to help them with that. And with that information, armed with that, you can then go to their manager and their manager's manager and go like, there's this pain in your organization that I think I can solve. And they can then go, okay, you might need to involve this other person who is actually the holder of the budget, who might not know about this pain either. And we have to then get them involved because I might have this pain. I think this is a great way of solving it. But unless this other function, whether it's a CFO or something along those lines, is aware of it, has planned for it, is willing to create budget for it, it's still not going to happen. Right. So, and that those are the committees that we're talking about, where it's like you need to get everyone involved and you need to get them involved very soon and very early, rather than having everyone wanting to buy and then it stumbles at that last hurdle because the CFO wasn't aware and doesn't have the money.
So let me think about a scenario. Let's say I'm selling. I always use the CRM one. I'm selling a CRM, and in all intents purposes, the traditional way is 10 years ago. I would reach out to the marketing director, maybe sales leader, and pitch my solution. What I'm understanding from what you're saying, think differently, then go there directly, validate the point with perhaps talking to maybe a marketing specialist or a sales
RevOps.
rep or RevOps, like speak to somebody else to get the intel on what some of the real issues might be before I go and pitch to a leader. But I'm also not only validating it, but I'm having more people involved. Is that where you're getting at with this scenario? Two different paths.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. You need the backup. You need the champions in the background to go like, we need this and we want this. And then you need all the various people that are going to be impacted by the decision to get it. And it might not only be marketing, it is sales and it is
Yeah.
RevOps and it is finance. And if possible, you want to talk to every single one of them.
Catherine, that takes too much time. Seller is going to say this, or a sales leader is going to say, my team doesn't have much time. We have to get pipeline.
True. So that's why I said this will differ whether you're selling massive enterprise solutions into a big accounts or whether you sell a very small product into an SMB organization. So I would not recommend that for a 5K, 10K deal, you talk to 20 people in an organization. Okay. I think you have to find that balance, right?
Yeah.
But if you're trying to, I don't know, replace Salesforce in a massive organization, you will need to talk to a lot of people, right? So it's finding that balance, but as long as you understand that it's never going to work if you just talk to this one person.
Yeah.
Like imagine you try to sell data and you go, okay, I'm going to talk to marketing because they will want the data. And you only talk to them. And then go, and sales go, yeah, we don't need it. RevOps go, oh, but our data was fine. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. Everybody's going to need to.
So so there's not like a one size fits all with regards to how big the committee needs to be and how many people you need to talk to. But I think from a conceptual point of view, you will just need to make sure you talk to more than one. And the reason I'm saying that is like I've come into organizations who are like, please come and help me with what's going wrong with our pipeline build. And then you do the analysis. And then of the deals that are in the pipeline, more than 80% have one person attached to them in the system. That still happens. And you go like, how are you ever going to get there if you're only talking to one person? And then more than 50% had like two.
Wow.
Just two. And you go, seriously? So the numbers show that in various organizations, it's still a problem.
You see, and I feel that the interesting part with that is like if you, even in the SMBs to some degree, there's multiple individuals that are going to be a part of that process. Like what you're saying, it's just a matter of you analyze yourself and see how much time you need to spend. But there's more. We often can do more in an account or get more information, and I think it goes back to the idea of that lazy selling. But how do you handle it where it may seem like I'm not going to? I spoke to it was a CMO of a major company, and it's a sales enablement tool. marketing tool as well. But she spoke about that her team is sometimes they're commissioned to go and do stuff, and they're going to gather information. How do I
Yes.
balance it where I don't like I'm not ticking off my other people by going around and trying to talk to everybody, because then because I think there's a balance between that, right? I'm talking to you to get more information, but then you go and you try to talk to several other people in my organization. I'm like, bro, it comes back to me that, hey, we're looking at this stuff. Like, no, I was talking to them last week. How do I help to make sure
Yeah.
that that doesn't become I'm going around peeing on every corner as a like a dog?
No, absolutely. Great point. I mean, I think that's all about proper communication, open communication lines with the people that you're talking to, right? Like my perspective, what I was saying before, is very much from a prospecting and sales development side of
Yeah.
things, like trying to break into the account. You need a lot of people. Once you're then in, you've spoken to a few, and it's very much about, okay, who's important here? And it's fine to like qualify properly and just ask. I feel people are afraid to just ask those type of questions for fear of like being, I don't know, found out, or like felt being like a little bit desperate or something like that. You can just go like, okay, you guys run marketing. Sales seems to be involved in that. Should I talk to someone, or are you their person as well? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So I don't think it's necessarily a problem as long as you're very clear about it.
So I agree with that part. So you're looking at one, it's not a problem if you're if you're communicating with them. And then two, you're also breaking past I guess the false sense of reality that we place sometimes, saying that a prospect might get upset, prospect might not like what I have to ask. But if you ask that question, it tend to be that they will share the information with you.
They're
Yeah.
fine. Have always
Yeah.
like people tend to want to help out. That is innate.
And one of the things I found as well is that when I do this, the buyers tend to be like they tend to be in a position where they respect me more, or they see that I can do more for them. So they're willing to, or it just brings a lot of credibility. The fact that I ask this particular question shows to them that I'm not just a novice, that I've actually done this before. So that gives them a little bit more comfort, because it's like, yeah, I didn't think about it that way. So therefore, if they're asking this question, they understand the stuff. Therefore, they know how to solve my problem better.
Absolutely. But if I have a problem myself as well that I think a tool can solve, but I know there's more functions within my organization that this tool can also help out,
Yeah.
I, as a buyer, will also feel strengthened if me plus 2 or 3 of my peers will
Right?
go to the CFO to go like, can I please get this tool now?
It's going to solve a problem for us.
Right?
Yeah. The next piece is we got this committee, we got our cast of characters together, so to speak, tailoring our message to each individual. What matters most to them? How do I discover what matters most to a prospect?
Um, I think in general, if you're selling a product, you will know what type of pain your product solves and what impact it has in any particular type part of the organization. So you go, okay, a CFO, magic. They will care about like financial impact more than anything else, right? So what impact would having or not having my product have to their business? CRO, will it have an impact on like the revenue and all of that, and how, so it's really logical, but there's so many people that don't do it. They just go, I've had this tool. This is what it does. This is awesome for everybody. And they kind of leave it at that. And then a CEO, if it goes all the way to the top, and he or she is the one that needs to sign off on it, going, yeah, but what is the bigger picture? Because they don't care about like the nitty gritty of the fact that the sales teams need 5 fewer clicks to get through to something, and they all love it because it will make their day so much better. But you have to then extrapolate that to, okay, so they can do this much more, which means this much more revenue, which means this for the company. So I know it costs this, but it's going to give you so much on the end of it. And I think any good seller needs to be able to have that type of messaging ready for the different people that they're talking to. And that is work with your team, work with products, work with marketing, work with AI, figure it out on what the message needs to be. But you can't just go with our product does this, and everyone needs to just understand what type of impact that will have.
Yeah. I feel like if I understand it, go back to Simon Sinek. He always says, the concept start with why. But if something matters to me, then it helps. And I'll give you a simple, practical way that I've done this before, Catherine, is I've had sellers go to and sometimes people put on LinkedIn like what their role does. Like this is very elementary. So it would say, this is what I'm responsible for. This is what I'm responsible for, blah, 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 blah. If I can help you win in what you're doing on a day-to-day basis, not the company, but you as an individual, there's a better chance that you're going to take this and move it forward because you're helping me with an initiative that I have. My initiative is like in my company right now, in our sales training company, I'm the face of the organization, and my job is to go out and to advertise our brand. And I go on podcasts and I run this podcast. That's what I'm focusing on, something that's initiative for me. You say, Donald, I have a way to get you in front of more amazing guests. And I want to tell you about that. Like, of course. But if you come to me and say, Donald, I want to tell you a little bit more about the operations aspects and also go over some of a cool finance software. I'm like, I don't care about that. Contact one of my other team members.
Yeah, no, exactly. But also if I frame the message to you wrong, even though I could bring you all these guests and I just go, oh, I have this platform that says X. And you go, okay, what does that mean to me exactly? So it's very important that you, exactly what you're saying, that you pick out the thing that matters to the person that you're trying to talk to.
I love it. The last area that I want to tackle just for a little bit is use more than one channels to get a hold of that person. We talked about identifying the committee. We then go into some of the messaging, how we can identify messaging for this person. Use more than one channel. Talk to me about this one.
Again, something that I feel quite strongly about is like you should never just bet on one channel. And the times that I've come in and talked to sales leaders or sales development leaders, and they go, well, 90% of what we do is email. And I'll go, wow, okay, good for you if you can make that work. But I wouldn't want to bet on that.
Yeah.
And I think it needs to be a very coherent combination of phone, of socials, of email, and everything has its place. But calling is still and has been proven to still be very much the most successful way of booking meetings, finding opportunities, closing deals, and so on. You need to pick up the phone. This is important. However, the propensity of people to just randomly pick up every phone call these days is very low because things are blocked as spam, or you only pick up on a certain time of the day, or there's so many reasons that you don't necessarily get through. So it's very important, I think, as a seller, that you need to become a person, someone they know, and they know what to expect and what it is that you're trying to do. And then they actually might pick up the phone. So if you try to call and they don't answer, and then you send them a message saying, just try to call you, it was about this. Doesn't need to do you don't need to ask anything. You can just flag it. And we're going to try to call you again another day. And then you send them a connection request on LinkedIn, and then you have a face, and they've got, oh my God, so I've heard their voice, and I know what they look like. And then next time it might pop up, they might pick up, or they might reply to you saying, well, it's lovely, you're now a person, but no thanks. Every answer is better than just keep trying, right? So you need to become someone they either trust or they understand or they kind of feel some sort of connection with, that you go, okay, I'm willing to pick up the phone. I'm willing to send that email back. And if you only start email, and you end up in their spam box where they just delete you every time because they don't know who you are, it doesn't matter. That's not useful, which is why I always say, leave a voicemail, right? They need to hear your voice. You're not a bot. These days we need to prove that. I'm a person, and I'm not immediately going to ask you to buy, but I want to tell you something. I think I can help you with something. Keep trying. And the data still shows it takes more than 11 attempts usually to get hold of someone, but that's not 11 phone calls, because that becomes crazy. It needs to be like a mix of things.
I had a call, and we did an episode today that's going out, but it was one of my clients. He was trying to get a hold of a person, and he didn't want to bombard them too much. This person had scheduled an appointment. The person had not accepted a calendar invite, and he wanted to get that person and get back in touch with them, connect with them, but he was kept calling 5 times, Catherine, 5 times, and he's like, I don't. That's what he did before to first get a hold of him. He's like, I don't want to keep calling again. And I'm like, well, use the phone for sure because he can use that. But I guess he wasn't thinking creatively on this sense. Could he use a different phone number? So I said, try a different phone number. And he did it with WhatsApp. The funny thing was this person actually did respond to him that way because he tried LinkedIn. He tried some other sources. The point I was trying, like, they needed, it's being creative. How do you teach
Very
creativity?
much so. And I think one of the things I teach my my reps sometimes is when you book a meeting, ask for the permission to send them a text to like confirm arrangements, or like to say like, oh, just to make sure if you can't make it, so you can text them, you can WhatsApp them. It's fine, right? You can usually just ask them if that's okay. But if you have their phone number, send them a text. That's okay. One of my more successful reps, he did a lot via Facebook because he worked in the market, Japan, where a lot of business was actually done on Facebook, weirdly enough. And I was like, really? And he's like, yeah, we've got whole communities and people. I go over there. I was like, okay. So it's really about being creative. And what you're saying, WhatsApp works in certain regions. Other countries absolutely do not do it, right? So you need to kind of figure out what works. And I think also the calling 5 times, maybe in America, it's okay. Don't try it in Germany, you get in trouble. So you have to find that balance. But I totally agree. Like you can be more creative. And I also have like a pet hate for reps that say, oh, I have a call block every day. Every day from 9 to 10, I call people. And I was like, but what if the person that you're trying to call has a meeting standing from 9 to 10 every day? You'll never get hold of them. Right? Like, why don't you move them? Why don't you have a variation in here? Like, don't be so rigid in it.
Yeah, no, that piece, I've learned that one the hard way. You gotta, because I was on that premise too, have the call block, but set aside a dedicated time. But that's what I learned from it. Like, you just got to be versatile. You can have you can have time that you're going to dedicate. Where do you put that? And switch it up. And I think that's where that piece comes in. I love that.
Yeah, exactly.
Sales is fluid, Catherine. I guess it's not. I can't just be static. I can't do what I did 10 years ago and expect it to keep working.
That's the fun of it, right? That's what I like about it. And I like that people can keep trying things, and some things fall flat and others turn out to be the next best thing. And then the problem is, and everyone starts doing it, and then that falls flat again, and you have to start all over.
That is the dilemma. That is the dilemma that I have seen. You can't, people will, it will work. People will use it, and then you'll need to discover something new. So
exactly,
figure it out. Catherine, we're enjoying the conversation. If we want to learn a little bit more about you or connect with you, what's the best way to go about doing so?
I would say connect with me on LinkedIn. Always happy to have a chat and talk shop. And I support quite a lot of people who come to me with questions specifically about sales in EMEA and APJ, because it's so different from America, right? So if there's any questions, just hit me up.
Will do. Thanks so much, Catherine.
Thank you so much.
That was Catherine Oliver. Please do yourself a favor and connect with her on LinkedIn. Tell her you heard her here on The Sales Evangelist. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe to our podcast so we can make sure we notify you every time we drop some dope content like this one. I would love to have you join us, and I would love to have you be a part of our mastermind. You can find more details about the mastermind by going to thesalesevangelist.com/mastermind, thesalesevangelist.com/mastermind. As always, I want you to thrive. I want you to succeed. I want you to make more money. I want you to raise your level of thinking. I want you to go out and do big things. See you on the next one.